Hi guys, in today's video I am going to make a automotive smoke machine. It serves to detect vacuum leaks and evap leaks on a vehicle. These are the items that I am going to use to make it. A plastic tube sized 1/2 inch outer diameter, 3/8 inner diameter. Another plastic tube sized 3/8 inch outer diameter, 1/4 inch inner diameter. Next, I am going to use 2 1/4 inch couplers designed to be used with an air compressor. I'm using JB cold welding to attach both couplers to the lid of the smoke machine. 2 clamps. Now this is optional. You really don't have to use these because it's not going to be any pressure, but I got them anyways in case I needed to use them. A cheap soldering iron. No need to go expensive on this. An empty 1 gallon paint can. Normally I would have went with a used gallon of paint and cleaned it out, but you can't use those anymore because the bottom of a regular paint gallon is plastic now. Thankfully, you can still purchase these full tin cans at your local hardware store. The type of smoke machine that I am going to be making is to be used with a bicycle air pump or an air compressor. There are other ways of making smoke machines that work great. If you wish to follow what I'm doing, be my guest. Or if you wish to follow what I'm doing and make improvements to what I'm doing, be my guest. This is how I am going to be able to plug my air pump to it. If you take a big pin, take it apart, the tube fits perfectly on the air pump nozzle. Take the 3/8 inch outer diameter, 1/4 inch inner diameter tube, and it fits perfectly on the outer of the big pin tube. As you can see, I'm working the air pump and everything is staying in place. Let's get started. I'm going to start with these couplers. First, I'm going to draw the holes with the Sharpie marker on where I'm going to be drilling. And of course, I am holding my phone while I do this. Next, I'm going to mark the spot where I'm going to drill the hole for the soldering iron. I'm using a 1/2 inch drill bit to make the holes for the couplers. Next, I'm going to use a 3/8 drill bit to drill the hole for the soldering iron. In order to push the soldering iron through the hole, I had to remove the screw on the tip and replace it. Next, I used an 11/16 socket with the socket wrench to put the couplers in place. Next, I took the JB cold weld, squeeze out small portions at a time from both tubes. And with a flathead screwdriver, I mixed both portions really good. Make sure you mix small amounts at one time and use them, because if you mix big amounts, it may start to dry up on you before you finish using it. I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the bottom side of the lid first. And after, I applied it to the top side of the lid. Next, I used the 532 drill bit to drill 4 holes around the main hole on the lid where the soldering iron is going to go. These 4 holes are going to help the JB cold weld and the soldering iron stick better to the lid. The JB weld is going to push through the holes and it's going to form a better grip. I went on and applied some more JB welding on the other side over the holes to form a better bond and let it grip better when it dries. I'm going to use one of the clamps and attach it to the soldering iron on the bottom of the lid. This will secure the soldering iron better on the lid. The next day, the JB weld was dry, but not completely. It still needed to cure some more. Now to make the connector for the air pump. I'm cutting 2 inches off the bigger tube, 1/4 inch 3/8. And now from the smaller tube, 3/8, 1/4, I am going to cut 1.5 inches. And these are the 2 pieces that I need to make my connector. The smaller piece goes inside the big piece. Just push it in really good. Now you take the big pin tube and push it in the smaller piece. Push it in really good. Now measure 1 inch to 1.5 inches off the big pin tube and carefully cut it. This is the connection that you're going to need to connect the air pump. Connect the bigger piece of the tube to the coupler and push it in really good. Because this does not require any pressure, you do not need any clamps. Now the 1/2 inch 3/8 tube is going to go connected to the other coupler. Push it in really good. Again, because this does not require any pressure, you do not need any clamps. If you wish to use clamps, you may, but then again, that's optional. In my case, I'm not going to use any clamps for this. I only needed 1.5 inches from a 3/8 quarter tube. But this small tube may come in handy when I'm connecting the smoke machine to my vehicle. Well, it's all done, and it's time to test it. Take a paper towel, take some wire cutters, some baby oil, wrap the wire over the towel. This is to hold the towel in place. Get some baby oil. After you wrap the wire over the paper towel, what you want to do next is pour baby oil over the paper towel and make sure the paper towel is completely covered with baby oil. Take the 1/2 inch 3/8 tube and plug it to the coupler. Push it in nice and tight. After plugging the smoke machine for 5 minutes, I now have smoke. And now let's try it with the air compressor. I'm adjusting the pressure valve to very low, where I get very little air coming out. Because I don't want any pressure building up, I need just enough air to flow through the smoke machine. The air pressure seems to be a bit too high, but then again, this is just a demonstration. This is the valve to adjust the pressure on the compressor. This concludes the video, guys. Thank you for watching.